After the Second World War, Turkey found itself in a difficult strategic position. It had avoided direct participation in the war, but the peace that followed did not bring a sense of security. On Turkey's northern border stood the Soviet Union, one of the two emerging superpowers of the new Cold War. Moscow's pressure over the Turkish Straits and its wider influence in Eastern Europe made Ankara feel increasingly vulnerable. For Turkey, neutrality was becoming harder to sustain. In 1947, the United States announced the Truman Doctrine, promising support for countries under pressure from communism. Turkey, together with Greece, became one of the first countries to receive American aid under this policy. This was an early sign that Turkey was moving closer to the Western Bloc. But economic and military aid was not enough. What Turkey wanted was a firm security guarantee. And in the new Cold War order, the strongest guarantee was NATO. NATO had been founded in 1949 by the United States, Canada, and 10 Western European countries. Its core principle was collective defense. An attack against one member would be considered an attack against all. Turkey applied for NATO membership, but at first the response from Western allies was cautious. Some questioned whether Turkey truly belonged inside the North Atlantic Alliance. Others worried that admitting Turkey could expand NATO's obligations too far into the Middle East and the Eastern Mediterranean. Then, in 1950, the Korean War changed the global atmosphere. North Korea's invasion of South Korea was seen in the West as proof that communist expansion could turn into direct military aggression. Turkey responded by sending troops to Korea under the United Nations command. The Turkish brigade fought far from home, but politically its message was clear. Turkey was ready to defend the Western security order, not only in words, but in action. This decision strengthened Turkey's case for NATO membership. For the United States and its allies, Turkey's strategic value was also becoming harder to ignore. Turkey controlled the entrance to the Black Sea through the Straits. It stood between the Soviet Union, the Middle East, and the Mediterranean. Its geography made it a crucial southern flank for the Western Alliance. By 1951, the decision had effectively been made. NATO invited both Turkey and Greece to join the alliance. On February 18, 1952, Turkey officially became a member of NATO alongside Greece. It was NATO's first enlargement. For Turkey, this was more than a diplomatic success. It was a strategic turning point. NATO membership anchored Turkey firmly within the Western security system. It provided a collective defense guarantee against Soviet pressure and reshaped Turkey's military, diplomatic, and geopolitical identity for decades. From NATO's perspective, Turkey's accession strengthened the alliance's position in southeastern Europe, the Eastern Mediterranean, and the Black Sea region. Objectively, Turkey's entry into NATO was the result of several overlapping factors: Soviet pressure, the Truman Doctrine, the Cold War security environment, Turkey's military contribution in Korea, and the country's strategic geography. In the end, Turkey did not join NATO simply because it wanted to be part of the West. It joined because the Cold War made security, geography, and alliance politics inseparable. The year 1952 marked the moment when Turkey's search for protection became a permanent place inside the Western Alliance.